Good evening, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We are back with more Warcraft, yeah? The World of the Warcraft. Um, I did a short stream earlier today because we had the emergency. And then Chris and I took the afternoon off. I think I did a news article around the Rogue Trader patch, but that was it. Then we both took naps. Got up, relaxed, did a members video for our channel members on YouTube. Did some R&D, and I recorded a really cool video around, his name's Darth Microtransaction. I've never actually watched any of his content before. I've seen a couple of his shorts, but that's about it. But he was mentioned recently in a video, and I saw he had done this video, like, talking about how his life has completely changed over the last, like, 8 months since his channel blew up because of Diablo 4. And so I went and watched it. It's a very... I just recorded an hour-long episode. That should tell you how interesting of a topic it was, because he had a 17-minute video, and I turned it into an hour-long discussion. So it's a really cool video, though, about somebody who just had been grinding for a very long time, surviving, making enough money from content creation to pay the bills, but not like thriving. And then a game comes along that, because I can say I experienced that on a smaller scale with Baldur's Gate 3. When Baldur's Gate 3 came, I definitely had a massive peak. But it went away because I do other things. And some people lean into it, like Wolfart FPS. He leans into Baldur's Gate 3 because that works for him. I'm definitely more of a variety streamer, so I take the hit in terms of views and channel growth, but I much prefer doing all the things that I want to do, which is play lots of games and watch lots of movies. Liam says, I've never gotten over Pandarans. They look so silly. Well, yeah, and you're not seeing me with my transmog on. I don't have my cosmetic outfit on at the moment. But I do have a decent looking transmog set for this guy. Whole Shark says, I've really enjoyed your WoW videos. Appreciate that. I've covered a lot of MMOs over the years. EverQuest 1, EverQuest 2, Guild Wars 1, Guild Wars 2, Lord of the Rings Online, Star Wars: Old Republic. I know I've tested other games in there, but those are the ones that really stand out to me. ESO, I've tried ESO, but it's not, not my favorite. Neverwinter Online had some stuff I liked. Star Trek Online had some stuff I liked. So this is just a natural progression. I've got a pretty, I do maintain, and I appreciate that you say that, Holberg, that you love the positive attitude. I do generally try to keep a positive attitude about gaming, because there are way worse things I could be doing for a living. So it's very, I don't understand, other than clickbait, I don't understand people who just focus on purely negativity. Like, I've ducked into drama from time to time, and then that's fine. Like, not everyone has appreciated my savaging of Pantheon, Rise of the Fallen, and other indie places like Project Gorgon and stuff, but I'll occasionally dip into the dramatic side from time to time, but I do try to generally keep it pretty positive here. Liam says Baldur's Gate 3 is just so cool. It is, and Larian just keeps, like, they made so much money that Sven has allowed the team to just go nuts on, like, fixing all sorts of things and adding new things. Like, they've just added so much new shit with every patch. It's pretty amazing for them to be in that position. On the opposite side of that is like Rogue Trader just got its first major patch today, and I did the video about it this afternoon. It's the first patch where they've actually gone in and fixed hundreds of things. It looked like a Larian Studios patch, and I was like, God damn, I love it when I see things like that, because it lets you know that the team is really dedicated to, fixing this thing. Liam says it's the year of Darkpaw. I know you stepped away from EQ. I've definitely stepped away from EQ1. Almost 25 years since EQ launched next month. Yeah, Pantheon. I may I'm not confirming anything yet, but I may. I need to see the rule set. What's up? Yeah, just not Blanca. No Blanca. Dream Wilder says, I think your Shadow multiplayer content should be more visible. It's a bit hidden on your YouTube channel. Well, I can't help that. Like, that's up to the people who watch the shows, man. If you want the Enshrouded multiplayer content to be more visible, make sure to tune in live. Those happen at noon on Sunday Central Time, every Sunday. We do for about 3 hours. We try to go for about 3 hours. That's how you make it more visible on my channel. You show up, you watch it, you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all those things. It's all good. I know. It's all good. Even if you live in Australia, Dream, just make sure you watch them because you can watch them after the fact. They are in the playlist. They are in the Enshrouded playlist. It's a great game. Enshrouded is really fucking cool. I was talking about this. I did a video maybe yesterday. Maybe it was today. I don't remember. But I was talking about how I don't get any views on the Enshrouded stuff. Like, literally, I think I have one video I published the other day that only got like 54 views. And I was like, that doesn't really ever happen to me. Like, most videos at this point, most of my videos, I feel like I get within the first week, I'll get 500, like 300 to 500 views. That's a respectable, I think that's good for my channel. Now, many of them go on to do thousands of views over months, but when you have one that only gets like 75 views after a week, you know it was a dud. And I've had a couple of Enshrouded videos that have just went, which sucks from an algorithm perspective, but I try to just ignore it because it's a great fucking game. And it's really good. I could probably change that, Dream. If I leaned into making guides around Enshrouded, it would definitely take me up the algorithm. But I've kind of not been, I've been leaning more into Let's Play episodes instead of guides. I just did a big video for my channel members which talks about this experiment I'm doing. So I appreciate the fact that you say that it's on par for you. It's on par with my Baldur's Gate content. I appreciate that. It is a really good game. It's definitely not going away anytime soon. I expect that to be a couple months at least. It'll be all of the rest of February and all of March probably. And then I think for me, I'm just in a holding pattern waiting to see what Dune Awakening is going to be doing. Like, when are they launching? Because more than likely that will become like my Saturday, Sunday thing is like doing Dune Awakening on like Saturdays and Sundays. And then the rest of the week is World of Warcraft or whatever game that I'm playing, which is going to be like Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming up around the corner. So in March, like right now I'm streaming a ton of World of Warcraft, and that's because I'm sort of in between games right now. I am doing a Let's Play series for Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire to get up to speed with Avowed, but that's offline, 30-minute episodes. Enshrouded, I'm only doing the multiplayer stuff. The rest of it's just been Warcraft, and it'll probably be that way until Dragon's Dogma 2. But once Dogma 2 comes out, that'll probably be the only thing I stream for maybe 2 weeks. It's just going to depend on what the traffic is like on the streams. And then it'll go into a Let's Play series. If the streams are still getting good traffic after 2 weeks, then I'll keep streaming that game more frequently. But usually after 2 weeks, I see things start to drop off, so then I start to come back into Warcraft because that's my behind-the-scenes game. And I'm still waiting for dates on Star Wars, Outlaws, Avowed, Indiana Jones, Fable. None of those have release dates yet, and they're all 2024 titles. Dune Awakening doesn't have a release date. Stalker 2 does have a release date. It's like September. Something else got pushed to September. I don't remember what it was. But I've got this huge gap in the summertime, so we'll just see. When's the release date of DD2? March 22nd? I think it's March 22nd. I'd like Enshrouded to be the thing that we do on Sundays until Dune Awakening comes around. But I don't know if Dune Awakening is going to be summer or fall. They're doing lots of closed betas right now, and it's looking really, really good. I would not be surprised if they came out with like a fall release, summer or fall release. And I'll definitely be doing something multiplayer for that. It'll be what I'm gonna probably transition to after Enshrouded is gonna be Dune Awakening. But I could see us spending the next 6 months doing Enshrouded because like there's just so much potential for the world building side of things. Just to get together for a few hours with the guys and make cool shit. Like it's a very fun, chill game where people can just drop in and drop out as they want. So having 6, 8, 10 people who just come in and drop drop out over a few months. Dune Awakening is going to be more long term for me. If it turns out to be the way I think it's going to be, then I'll be investing long term in Dune Awakening. That'll be the next, like as much of a commitment as I've made to World of Warcraft, I will make to Dune Awakening. Like that'll become like a Baldur's Gate 3 type game. I mean, where I go make 400, 500 videos of the game and guides and everything else. But the two games I'm really waiting for this year are Indiana Jones and Star Wars Outlaws. Those are my two big picks for the year. The rest of the games I'm interested in, but they're not like, oh my god, I gotta play it. What are we doing in here? Speak to Master Winfer.
Tell me of your travels. May the red crane live forever in your heart.
I don't often do night streams, but I did a short stream today because I was really just knocked out. I think we only did an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours today. So I figured, you know what? I felt pretty good. It was like 6:30. I was like, I could stream for an hour and a half, 2 hours. 9 o'clock is usually when I'm done. Like if I'm actually still sitting here at 9 o'clock, I'll be surprised. I'll make it till 8 probably. So it's like an hour and a half. But then it'll be time for TikTok in bed.
Greetings, wanderer.
Chris is already in bed. She's just
May
done.
the mists protect you.
All right, that opened up the ability for me to get a bunch of side quests in this town.
Hi there.
We were all so scared we tried to run back. A bunch of my friends tried to get away by climbing trees. So he wants me to help save his friends.
Bye-bye.
Slow down.
Go forth, hero, and conquer the beast. Ooh, is this going to be a cool looking robe? No, it's not. I didn't like this set, but I've at least got it for a
White Tiger watch over you.
transmog set.
Welcome.
Oh, he really wants to impress
Next
Sarah.
one is on
Good luck
me.
with that, bro. So I want to say too, I got to upload the video later, but it's not going to air until probably Wednesday or Thursday. But that reaction video I just did to Darth Microtransaction, I also want to say, as a teaser to everybody here on the stream, or who's watching this after the fact, I am going to be recording a follow-up, which I mentioned in that other video, but it's not uploaded yet. Because I do... It's pretty amazing the way this has grown over the last year in particular. It's been growing very good. Look at the fox! Those little foxes look so good with certain races. That's on point. Not a big fan of the turtle, but I'll get something else eventually. Alright. The music kicked in for sure. God, the music is so good in these. But you know, out of all the I really like Battle for Azeroth a lot. It was my favorite expansion to date. But in the short time I have spent in Mist of Pandaria so far, this is better than Battle for Azeroth. Well, I need to caveat that. I'm enjoying this a lot. The one thing it is lacking, it's not quite as cinematic as Battle for Azeroth because this is much older. But this one has a lot more voiceovers and everything compared to Cataclysm. So this feels really good. Like this to me is like when World of Warcraft was really hitting its stride as like a game that was modernizing. It very much feels. I really like this. It's a lot of fun. Doing Warlords of Draenor next. I got another character for that. That's my mage. Those little baby spiders are nasty. Oh, I need... Well, I'll wait till we get back to camp. If I've got to spend 2 points, it'll take me longer than I want. I'm going to rescue the cubs up ahead. This actually looks like it might be a safe enough place that I could spend my points. There doesn't appear to be anything here. Alright, there is right there. So, oh! Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, they went away once I zoned away. Alright, let's spend some points. When is this World of Warcraft from? 2000... that's a good question. I'm gonna go look it up. I don't know. Mist of Pandaria. Mist of Pandaria was 2012, September 2012. So this was 8 years after its launch. But yeah, this is when it's starting to get really polished. I gotta spend something here. I'm gonna have to do it because I need widening whirl. Alright. Alright, what's up, kid?
Where are you from?
Down, kitty.
Where are you going?
Destroy 8 Jade Guardians.
See you later. Someday I'm going to be a hero like you.
Hang on. I gotta back out here real quick. Just real quick, the neighbor's dog is going ape shit, so I gotta go see what's up.
Go smash some bad guys.
'Twas the neighbor's dog. Barking at one of our cats. But Chris is all over it, so I don't have to stress too much. She's at the door, hanging out. We just had a couple of pairs while we were looking outside, checking, make sure everything's good. Dream says, only really returned to an interest in video games this year. Interesting to hear about what I missed. You've missed, I don't know how long you've been gone, but there have been some amazing advancements in like so many places. Unreal Engine 5 is just out of this, it's out of this world. The things that are being done in the engine space. I have never seen better cinematic narrative gameplay experiences than in the last like 10 years. But especially like the last 5. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War Ragnarok, Jedi Survivor, Jedi Fallen Order, Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3. Jeez. It's just, there have been some really amazing games in the last few years, and it's just getting better because now we're finally coming into the full adulthood of like the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. So it's like we're finally getting, like, have you seen Banished? Like, I would love to play Banished right now. I don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the time to play Banished. But like, Banished looks absolutely freaking amazing. What's the new one? Hellriders 2 or whatever it's called, that everybody's, it's like the new sci-fi shooter that's like, you know, it looks amazing. But I don't have a PS5 and I don't have a high-end PC, so it's like, yeah. No, I have a Series X, so I get to do a lot of things that, you know, here. In a perfect world, I'd have 2 consoles, but I don't know. Helldivers, yeah, Helldivers 2. That looks amazing. There's just been some really great games in the last few years, and the next few years look even more amazing as we get into like the full adulthood, the mature life cycle of the console. That'll be Elder Scrolls 6. Possibly, you know, it's just, there'll be some really cool games that come out towards the end of the life cycle for PS5 and Xbox Series X. And then looking forward to the next generation, like Last of Us 3, I guarantee Last of Us 3 is going to be, it'll be the launch game for the PS6. Absolutely. I don't, if they were smart, they'd make Elder Scrolls 6 the launch vehicle for the next Xbox. But we'll see where they go with all that. Oh, AI is already doing some amazing things. I think that once all the licensing is figured out with AI, it'll be in a much better place than it is right now. So what I mean by that is, you know, you've got
I'm not afraid of you.
the writer's
Have
strike
fun.
that just took place, the writer's strike and the actor's strike. A big part of what the actors were on strike about was the idea that the studios wanted to own in perpetuity the likeness of an actor to be used forever, and yet they only needed to pay that actor a one-time fee. And AI, so there was a great discussion on this the other day. I totally should have made a reaction video to it. But in essence, you've got these amazing stories that people can come up with, and AI is like, you remember how if you've ever seen Deep Space Nine, the people who created the Hollow adventures, right? So that was somebody's job, was to be a creative person who created these Hollow adventures. That's where AI is going to go. It's going to be like, I'm the director, and instead of needing 250 people working underneath me, I'll be able to use AI to say, I need these 25 images, and then I'll get the 25 images back. I can go, no, yes to 3. Like, I no longer need all of that. And that's for every single creative out there, whether they're an artist or a writer. are going to be able to use AI to enhance their creative process, and there's nothing wrong with that. The payment of someone for their services is important. So like voice acting is a big thing right now. So voice actors need to get paid. And part of what the contracts and the strikes have been about is there are companies who want to take the voice actor's voice and then apply that to any game that they want to, well, now that they own the voice. And that's not fair to the recording artist. But what a lot of people are doing is selling. You're starting to see actors do this. Like Bruce Willis, he can't act anymore. He's incapable. He's mentally not. He just can't do it anymore. So he sold his likeness and his digital likeness and his voice and everything to production studios on a basically rent basis. So if they want to put Bruce Willis in a commercial or an animated show or whatever, they could do that because he gave them permission to do that. Like, so when the people are being compensated for that, I think that's where you're going to see AI start to play a bigger part, especially in video games. I think you're definitely going to see voice acting is going to be done by AI more and more, but it's going to be in a way that it's sanctioned. So the person, so if I'm, you know, Devora, the amazing woman behind Lizelle in Baldur's Gate 3, if I'm her and I decide, this company comes to me and says, hey, we want to pay you $25,000 and your residuals and everything else, and instead of her needing to go in to do mocap and everything for 6 months, she might make $75,000 doing the mocap and everything else, but she could look at this project and go, I could take the lesser pay and just give them my voice and just say, okay, let's sign the contract. You can use my voice as this character, you know? So I think you're going to see AI pushing in that regards. Also, procedural generation has already been going on for 10 years in video games like No Man's Sky and etc. AI has already been playing a part in game development for a very long time with those emergent gameplay styles. So it's already been in use for a long time. And then I can tell you as a writer, I use it for all sorts of things. I've used it for helping me with scripting. I've used it like creating a script. I've used it to come up with basically give me 50 ideas. Like literally, I plug in a thing like give me 50 ideas on Indiana Jones. Like, give me 50 ideas on an Indiana Jones science fiction story. Okay, you know, go. And I'm just trying to throw something random out there. And it's going to spout back 50 things to me in the next 25 seconds or whatever. And I'm going to be able to look through that list and say, those 49 ideas are absolute shit. But that 50th one is actually worth exploring. Let's take that and spit it out into its own thing. That's how I use AI. It's a great tool for me to no longer need to manually search for like 50 things, but I could just tell it to search for 50 things. And instead of it taking me 2 hours, it takes me 10 seconds, you know? AI is extremely useful to me as a writer. On the flip side of that, I had a bit of an issue earlier this year where we hired an artist who turned out that they submitted AI art. And I immediately went, no, you didn't, because I hired you to do this specific style of art, which you had on your portfolio, and then you send in AI scripted art. I was like, that's not what I hired you to do, and you didn't disclose that you were going to be using AI in your artwork. And I rejected the piece, and they gave me my money back, and they went on their way. And I went and hired the amazing person that we had do the covers for us in the long run.
Where are you from?
So if you've seen the covers for our most recent
back
books,
soon.
you know, it all worked out in the end. But I have nothing against AI when it's disclosed and when it's used as a tool. It's when it's not disclosed and when the people aren't paid properly or credited properly. That's where the trickiness comes into play. And until we have all the paperwork, you know, that's going to be an evolving process.
Who are you supposed to be? Bye-bye.
I want my mommy.
What you doing?
It's safe now. You can come down.
Where you
kiddo.
going?
Tell me a story. Go smash some bad guys.
Ooh, a little bit of an upgrade here. I'll take the haste and versatility.
Have fun.
What else do we still need around here? Rescue cubs. 3 more of these kids. AI is going to evolve a lot in the next 10
You're
years.
fun.
I do. I have a sci-fi anthology on Amazon, actually, called Bloody Knuckles.
Hi there. See you later.
It's got a couple of short stories. It's got a couple of fantasy short stories in it too, but it's mostly science fiction short stories. And then all of my novel works to date have been
Hi there.
fantasy.
Tell me a story before you go.
The most
Someday
recent
I'm
one
going
we
to
just
be a
published
hero
in
like you.
December, and then January the paperback and
Bye-bye.
hardback came out.
Tell me a story.
The Jade Witch.
Where are you going?
Ooh, I'm gonna get a cool Jade Raccoon trinket.
Go smash some bad guys.
Creepy witch lady.
Oh my.
Where is
what
Shin?
a striking pose you have. I believe I heard some young whippersnapper in my garden out back. Let us go look for him.
Creepy lady. Yep, she turned into stone there with everybody else.
Ah, here is the boy. Does he not look special? My late husband and I always wanted children.
Creepy.
You should join our family. Preserved.
Yeah, bye-bye, witch. I can't believe I got her with my death touch. That's awesome.
I'm growing a beard.
I'm growing a beard, he says.
Where you going?
Alright. That's multiple quests I need to turn in. Back over here. I probably could recall. Am I not bound there? Let's recall. Pretty sure I'm bound there. The current project I'm working on right now is science fiction, actually, too. We're doing a sci-fi anthology with our channel members on YouTube. And I'm in the middle of the 3rd short story right now. It's a lot like, if you ever read the Thieves World series from Robert Lynn Asprin back in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s. We took the concept, we basically brainstormed it over the last couple months of 2023, and we came up with the setting. It's this, the short version is that there's a ship that crashed into a planet. It caused a crater, and over time, the civilization has evolved out of that ruins and is locked behind a dome. And we're kind of doing like a silo slash, the Bethesda, doing the Fallout games when they're in the shelter. Doing like a Fallout shelter slash silo type. They're stuck in the dome. They're stuck behind this energy wall. And they've had to evolve as a society from there. And everything beyond the dome wants to kill them and can kill them. Radiation and all sorts of other stuff. But we're working on that. It's got a series of short stories that are set in a singular location. And all of the short stories share a similar theme, and there's a story that runs through all the middle of them. So that's what I'm currently working on. Like I said, that's done with the channel members on YouTube. So I started that in January. I'm on the 3rd short story now. I share excerpts a few times a week, and then the chapters in their first draft format, go to the channel members who want to read them. That's going on right now on YouTube, and then over at my Patreon page, I've got another project, which is a big, huge fantasy project where I'm reworking a past iteration of something into a brand new trilogy of books. And that's all being done through the Patreon page, but that's all high fantasy stuff over there. So I still very much, I don't write full time anymore, but I still do write
Hello.
a lot.
There is no hurry. Jade Serpent.
Don't you leave without me, buddy. Come back.
Hmm?
I'll take the haste.
Enough of that.
Ooh, and it upgraded for me. Come here, kid.
I'm not afraid of you.
Alright, and there was another quest lady. Oh, there's multiple quest givers over here. Brewmaster.
What do you need? Goodbye.
Have you seen my son?
Until next time.
Nope, but I'm gonna go look for him.
Tell me of your travels. There is no hurry.
Deliver the scavenged jade.
May the mists protect you.
Oh, that's nothing. In terms of difficult world building, no. The project that I just finished the main portion of with my brother, that was complex. So in March of 2021, we started our new project together, my wife, my brother, and I. And we created we documented the whole process. So anybody who wants to go out there and check this out, you can. We decided to create a new project. We went from working on an MMORPG for like 8 years to working on this other concept where I looked at the origins of Dragonlance and I said, I want to do that. I want to do what Tracy Hickman and his wife did, before Hickman and Weiss started writing the novels together. And that was they created a tabletop world with tabletop modules. So we said we want to make a point-and-click adventure game. That was the next thing we knew we wanted to work on. But we wanted to make a world first. So we said, well, why don't we do that? Why don't we start with the world? We'll make the point-and-click adventure game set in the world, and then along the way we'll create this lore space. And that turned into looking at Dragonlance and saying, actually, why don't while you're working on Unreal and world building, I can go over here and write, and I'll create a tabletop source book and the lore guide for this world. So I'll create that first thing, and then I'll work on the first module. So while my brother was working on the point-and-click adventure game, I was also writing everything for the point-and-click adventure game. All the narrative, all the quests, all the tooltips, all the descriptions and everything, while he was working on the world building and plugging everything in. And then I was also over here working on writing the entirety of a tabletop source book for 5th edition, along with the first adventure module of levels 1 to 4. And then we live streamed all of that. We did a beta run with Patreon subscribers, like back in 2021, and then we went into the live version of it at the end of 2022, I think. We did an actual play series around that level 1 to level 4 campaign, which is like 10 or 12 episodes on YouTube. Simultaneous to that, I was documenting all of it through Patreon with 3 posts a week. I was also writing the first novel in that series in the style of Dragonlance from an omniscient third-person point of view, meaning you see into the heads of all the characters like they did with the original Dragonlance trilogy. And I wrote the first book on Patreon in serialized format with chapters every 2 weeks. And we documented all that, and we funded all of it through Patreon, thanks to all of our Patreon subscribers. And we finished everything other than the point-and-click game is still... My brother's been moving and some other stuff, so there's lots of working parts there. But you can get the demo of the point-and-click adventure game and play that now. But the book is out. The tabletop module we published, the module on the source book in May of 2022, that's out. The novel published in December with the digital format, and then paperback and hardback just came out in January. I'm currently working on getting the hardback version of our tabletop source book and the first module, that book out in hardback format. That is complex. that had a lot of working and moving parts. Plus working with contractors and artists to have them, do internal art and cover work and everything else. But it's much smaller than running the MMO. That was like 25 people. This is, half a dozen. So we had a lot of fun, but I just finished up everything on that in basically at the end of last month. So right now all I'm doing is my own stuff, which is the sci-fi anthology with channel members on YouTube, and then we've got our fantasy project through Patreon, and then all the YouTube stuff, and obviously growing Twitch and everything else. So those of you who are watching on Twitch, I'm multi-streaming on YouTube and Twitch, so you can look in both places, but usually live at noon. Tonight I hopped on for a little bit because I wanted to make up for only doing an hour and a half this morning. So many quests. This is awesome. There's also a quest over here somewhere. Apprentice Yuffie.
Oh, hello.
Tian Monastery.
I hope to see you again soon.
Speak with you. Yep,
Travel
that's another
safe.
bread. These are all breadcrumb quests. All right. Well, we're slowly peeling back the covers of this zone we're in. Look at these cherry orchards. This is freaking awesome. It's so beautiful. It's prime world building, man. I don't go in for lit RPG, no. Alright, here's the turn-in. What is he working on? He's a carver. He's a wood carver. An inscription trainer. Ooh.
You are most welcome.
You seek two lovers, blind to the ambitions of their family names.
May you find mastery in your
The
passion.
children you seek are not actually children, but grown Pandaren. The love will not be held in check by feuds of their families.
Slow down.
Right. Get a little bit of a
Life is
story
be
to that one.
savored.
Jade Serpent, guide you.
Gather fallen
Next one is on me.
petals. Also have another quest over here. Ink Master Jopol.
Speak up.
Gather wasp stings.
Enough of that.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to equip that new robe. And memorize that pet. I'm gonna have to go back and transmog soon, because I look ridiculous right now. Alright, we need... Don't see any petals at the moment. It's one of the petals. Any more petals? Yep, one right there. I see one over there. Oh, that's a big one. Not too big for me and my death punch. I I haven't really worried about it right now. I've done crafting in every other game I've ever played. I've never really just ever focused on just adventure. So this time around, I've done a little bit of crafting.
I cannot attack that.
But honestly, I'm waiting until the War Within. Because one of the things about the way they do World of Warcraft is a lot of the recipes and stuff are locked behind faction. And so the way the system is set up right now is if you want to do blacksmithing, for example, you have to get the faction high enough with that character to be able to get the recipes that you want for that character. But then if you turn around and do a character who has leatherworking, well, you need to have the faction. So you got to grind faction again to get the max faction allowed for whatever faction it is where you want to go buy the recipes. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me to do that right now because one of the changes coming with the War Within is the shared reputation with your warband. So whatever is your main character, the faction that they grind out is shared between all the alts that follow, which means that it's very easy at that point to say, well, I'm going to go blacksmith this character, and then I'm going to go leather worker with this character, and then I'm going to go jeweler with this character, whatever the case might be, because you'll already have all the faction needed so that you won't need to go grind anything extra. And knowing that that's coming in like 6 or 8 months, I just don't really have any desire to put a lot of time into the way the crafting system is currently at. So I'm just going to hold out and wait. Oh, we still need some more wasp stingers. Let me go check something here, because I don't have... Oh, we're good. Couple more wasp stingers. Okay, I just need one more stinger. No, I need 2 more stingers. Oh, those guys are stingy with their stingers. Where are wasps? Where you at? Can any of these ones drop it too? No, I guess only the red ones. Well, let's gather up a few. You. And you. That got me 5 of 6.
I cannot attack that.
Okay.
Greetings, Wanderer. There is no hurry. Next one is on me. Jade Serpent Guide.
I like how they're all artists.
What do you need?
Was there a book that brought me into loving fantasy? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I read I think the first thing I ever read, I was 5 years old when I read Narnia. I went through the whole Narnia set when I was 5. That was my first, up until that point I had done, short stories and stuff. And I remember reading things like, I remember when I was a really little kid, back when Sam's Club used to have like, it was you had to have a business to get a Sam's card. And my mom would go in there and they had a book section, and they would have like collections of all the old classics. So I had read things like Treasure Island and, The Three Musketeers. I had read that kind of stuff and enjoyed it. But reading Narnia definitely opened the door for me because after Narnia, I went and read The Hobbit, and then after The Hobbit, I was 7 when I read The Lord of the Rings. So it took me like 2 years to go through reading all the Narnia books, The Hobbit, and then The Lord of the Rings. I was 7 when I started Lord of the Rings, and I think I read them all, but with that first year. But I read it again when I was 9, understood it more. Read it again when I was like 12, understood it more. And then I think at 12 was when I started reading The Lord of the Rings every year. From the time I was 12 until I was like 22, 23, I read it every single year, once a year. So I'd say The Lord of the Rings would definitely be that book when I was a kid. But when I hit like 14, 13, 14 was when I discovered Robert Jordan. And after that was discovering Tad Williams, and I think Tad Williams is actually before that, because I had read the Dragonbone Chair and all that stuff before that. So I think the Memory Star and Thorn series was what really kicked off me, and also the Rift War Saga by Raymond Feist. Those trilogies, sort of Shannara is in there, the Belgariad is in there, like so many great. But early on was the Lord of the Rings, and then after that was I was a voracious reader because I grew up in the time before the internet, so from the time I was probably, I can remember getting a library card like 7 years old. I did, and I never really cared for Thomas Covenant because of some of the actions he took when he first got there, and the things he did to some other people. It just made me feel like he was a creepy person, and I never really cared for him as a character. Also, he always felt a little whiny to me. But I know some people. I know some people really like Thomas Covenant. I was not a fan. I did read the first trilogy. That was it. It was okay, but it wasn't my favorite. He was definitely a criminal. He did some horrific things. Horrific things when he got there. He was not a nice dude.
Until next time. Goodbye.
I totally need to go transmog soon. I look so horrific. Where do I go from here? I'd say, and a lot of people ask me over the years what's my favorite author, and it's always, I still think just from sheerly from a pure enjoyment perspective, I have those on my list. I actually have them on my Kindle backtrack. I have the first, I think, 2 or 3 Expanse novels anyway. The Expanse was a great show, for sure. I got sidetracked now. What was I saying? Book stuff. I'll get back to it. I had a brain fart. Got sidetracked answering somebody's stuff. And the Expanse. I liked the Expanse a lot. That was, it's all north from here. I think this Expanse was the first show I liked it the most out of all the sci-fi shows I've watched since the Battlestar Galactica Reimagined series in like 2001. The Expanse felt as real to me. Like that show was so well done. Felt like I felt similarly engaged like I did with Battlestar Galactica. Oh, favorite. Favorite author is a tricky one to answer because so many people are like, they'll have like one favorite author for everything. And I feel like mine is a little more complex because it's like I have different authors I like for different reasons who I think are equally talented, but they do things in a way that makes me react to their stories differently. So if you think about, for me, Roger Zelazny has always been my favorite first-person narrative author. If you want a good first-person story, I just feel that Zelazny is like my go-to dude for like the best first-person. Doesn't matter if it's science fiction or fantasy, whatever. First-person stuff, I'm gonna get the most enjoyment out of a Zelazny novel. And he's got Lord of Light's good. Road Marks. That's the one series of books I didn't sell when I started traveling. I did not sell my Zelazny collection because that took me a long time to collect all my Zelazny stuff. I think it's Faces in the Sand, if that's the name of it, if I remember correctly. That was another one of my favorites by him. I'll get to Robert Jordan here in a minute. So for for first person, it's Zelazny. Then when you start talking like general sort of omniscient third person or just third person novels in general, I think that Tad Williams and Raymond Feist and Terry Brooks, I know he did some horrible stuff, but David Eddings, like, even though I realized that his personal life had some very serious things that happened with him and his wife getting found guilty of being not so nice people, I don't think that takes away from the fact that the books, like the Belgariad and so on and so forth, were really like important to me at the time that I read them. Just from a literary scope of how do I create, a fantasy world. So as I was learning how to become a writer, like those were things that were very influential on me. I'm just tossing out names because I'm trying to remember back, things like that nature. Then when I got into then as science fiction, it's like Michael A. Stackpole, like the X-Wing series that he did was so well done. Yub, Commander. Like, and I went on to read other stuff by Stackpole, like his Talion Revenant novel is phenomenal from his standalone stuff, and he's done some cool stuff in the tabletop space. Kevin J. Anderson, like fun adventure tales. He writes tons of just fast-paced, easy to chew through, and he's also a beast of a writer. Like the way he does it all with dictation software and his assistant doing the text, voice to text stuff. But then I discovered Robert Jordan when I was like 13 or 14, and that sort of, it unlocked this whole world of, oh, I could write this epic third-person limited, and around the same time that I discovered Jordan, I think it was a couple years after I discovered Jordan, maybe 3 years after, I discovered George R.R. Martin with the first Game of Thrones novel. And I suddenly was like, oh, wow, now I've got these two massive fantasy worlds that are unfolding, which are both using that third-person limited perspective, but they're being told in completely different ways. Like Robert Jordan was more the PG-13, and then over here George R. R. Martin was coming and swinging with like a hard R, possibly X-rated, type of adventure that was just it was such a juxtaposition of styles to be reading those two books at the same time. But then, coming out of that, I've always said that if you read my very first fantasy novel, which was the Echoes of the Past, which was the Saga of Lucimia series, which is what we're redoing right now. We're redoing that on Patreon. That for me was like maybe 50% Robert Jordan, and then a little bit of Raymond Feist, and a little bit of Tad Williams, and a little bit of Terry Brooks. Like some of my favorite things that I was really inspired by from other places and styles. Like I loved, and I've used it through multiple iterations now, but I love the idea of the Thieves Guild that Raymond Feist had with Jimmy the Hand and everything in the first Rift Wars Saga novels, right? And so I took that idea years and years and years ago when I was a kid, I first read this, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And when I came to start creating my own stuff, I came up with the idea of the Blackbirds. And the Blackbirds to me actually showed up in the sci-fi anthology that someone was asking about earlier that I dropped, Bloody Knuckles. One of my short stories in there features a character named Donovan. And this is one of the first short stories I had written when I first started writing full time. And in that short story, there's mention of he runs an information organization called the Blackbirds, and that was the first iteration of that in a science fiction setting. And then I brought it back in the World of Lucimia for the Thieves Guild as the Ravens, and the Blackbird and everything else. And the original inspiration for that was just looking at how much I had loved the way the Thieves Guild operated in the Raymond Feist novels. And then the way I wrote that first book was very much Robert Jordan infused with Tad Williams. Like it was a blending of the two. Because if I could emulate either one of those guys and create something that's enjoyable to read, I'm a happy person. Um, but yeah. You guys got me on a rant tonight. I have a deep love of. I don't do nearly as much reading as I used to, and it's because now I like watching TV shows. I love the 8 episode mini arc where Chris and I can come in and watch something, either binge it over 2 days or we can come in and watch it over the course of a few weeks. I very much like the TV format these days. I don't do a lot of reading because most of my time is spent here doing this for a living. But I've been talking a lot about what am I doing after this, and I think the objective when I turn 50 is I want to be to the point where I'm going to go back to writing full time as long as things go as planned, I'll go back to writing full time then, and once I do that, I'll start reading again. Because Chris and I have talked about, like, do we put a library here, and neither one of us wants to put an indoor library here because of the problems where we live is tropical, and there's constant issues with termites and moisture, and it's just not a great place to have like a book library or anything like that. So we're waiting until we buy our next property, which we're currently working towards, and that's going to be up in the mountains where it's far more climate controlled. And once we get up there, it's going to be time to turn it back on. When I sold my book collection, I had 1,200 books in it, and that was when I left to travel full time. So I sold about 800, gave away about 400 in my local library, and then about 200 I kept, and those are in boxes at my sister's place. It's like all my I've got a John Carter of Mars with like a flawless Michael Whelan cover set that took me like, I don't know how many years. I paid way too much for it, but it was totally worth it. I have that box set. I have all my first edition Robert Jordan hardbacks. I've got signed books from Terry Brooks and some other guys. I used to be really big because, again, I grew up before there was internet, so that's all I used to do was read. Just read. Backtrack says currently finishing up The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan, trying to keep track of the side characters. It's a lot to keep up with. Yeah, that's good luck with that.
Greetings. Farewell. May your days bring you joy.
I was pretty conscious of that when I was writing Echoes of the Past. I tried to keep it down to like I think it was 6 or less characters. I think I ended up with, if I think about this, I had Prince, her. Well, I think I had 6. I had 6 characters. And I had 5, and then I added a 6th by the second book. And then with because I was writing it third person omniscient for Rising Storm over the last couple of years through Patreon, because it was in a Dragonlance style of like, that you see it in everybody's head. I wasn't worried so much about narrative. I was just worried about a fast-paced moving story, which is, instead of having 7,000 word chapters, I had 2,500 word chapters, so that it was a very quick, fast-paced read, and it was an 80,000 word novel, so it was just, that's a quick read. It's just a quick, fun adventure. But that was written completely differently because I was seen in the heads of all the characters, so we're just giving snippets, and you might get a little longer narrative from one character in one chapter versus another character in another one, but I never wanted to focus on like all the inner thoughts and turmoil and other stuff that, when I'm playing around with, 6,000 word, 10,000 word chapters, there's a lot of room for me to just sort of bleed onto the page whatever's running through my mind. But when I'm trying to keep it condensed into a 2,500 word chapter, it's got to be streamlined so that you're still getting the point across, but you're moving very quickly from point A to point B. But it just depends on what you're hoping to achieve with the experience. So I much prefer working in the longer format, but it's good to get out of your comfort zone and do different things. One of the reasons I'm having so much fun with the sci-fi anthology we're working on right now is because it pushes me out of my comfort zone, because I'm not a huge short story writer. I've done it, but it's not my jam. It's not my wheelhouse. But because this was something where I could tie all these plots in together, what I'm treating it as is essentially I'm just writing chapters, and each chapter focuses on different characters. So as long as I have a middle, end, and a beginning, middle, and end by the end of it, I'm happy with that. Whether it's 4,000 words or 8,000 words or whatever it ends up being for short stories. Dude, the Children of the Light are creepy. Are creepy, creepy, creepy. But like you said, key figures show that it's the extremists. It's no different than our real world religions, and it's no different. It's no different. It's the same thing. Like there are, there are good things about all of them, and there are also horrifically bad things about all of them. Scary things.
Hello.
Challenge the
May the
Pandaren.
mists protect you.
That one hand punch or whatever is such an awesome ability. It's like, nope, boom, you're done. A small cast can be personal, but it depends on what you're writing. So like with the Rising Storm, I think we had 5 characters in the main original in the part 1, and then we added 2 more in part 2. So the rest of the novel was 7 characters. That's enough. I don't need more than 7. I feel like more than 7 is unmanageable. I think that in the first, it's a little easier to deal with when you're writing from first person, because if you're writing from first person, you're forced to only use the perspective of one character. But I think you should keep it under 6 is best. Anything beyond 6, it gets really tricky to keep a track of, because also, you might find yourself as a writer starting to like one character more than another. Even though it's your job to tell the story, it's like certain characters come to you, at least for me, certain characters come to me more naturally than other characters. Like other characters are definitely, I have to work for it. Like I have to pull it out and get it on paper. Like it's not, and then other characters I'm already in the headset, so it's like I'm already in that mindset of like, oh, this is exactly what they're thinking and this is what they're saying, and brilliant. It's, in 30 minutes I've put down 3 or 4 times as much content, as much material as I might have written for another character, because I'm able to connect with that character more easily. But that's just how it works for me anyway. But a smaller cast is better. Your theory is if you can run a D&D campaign with your cast, it tends to be received well.
I need to target something first.
It can be, but some people also write really bad D&D stuff. That's also true. I don't know if Liam's still here, but Liam's way more into books than I am. Liam, that's all his channel is about. So make sure to give him a follow if you saw him in YouTube. Were you on here on YouTube or Twitch? I don't remember where I saw you, Liam. I'm gonna scroll up real quick. You were on YouTube. He's got a whole blog dedicated to the Forgotten Realms, a whole YouTube channel dedicated to BookTube, reading all sorts of books.
White Tiger watch
He reads
over
like
you.
I used to read when I was much younger. Before I got sidetracked with all these other things that I do. I need to get him transmodded. Excuse me, because he is not transmodded
Jade
right now. Excuse me.
Serpent, guide you.
But I do really love his transmog set. But this is not it. He looks pretty ridiculous at the moment. That's all good.
Hello.
All right, what do we want here? I'm always gonna take haste more than anything else. Take the choker.
Next one is on me.
This had a nice ending. This is funny. So right now I'm in the middle of watching the new Halo show, and I'm reviewing that here on the channel. But you can also expect in the coming weeks the new Shogun series is coming, which is the samurai show. I'm gonna definitely be watching that and reviewing that. And then there's also the Three Body Problem, I think is what it's called, on Netflix, which I'm also going to be reviewing and watching here on the channel. So for those of you who like good science fiction and fantasy, stick around. I do watch shows quite a bit. I don't review everything I watch. Chris and I'd say about half of what I watch I don't review. But the ones that I really enjoy, I do. Like, certain shows are just okay. Like, Chris and I just finished Reacher, the second season of Reacher. It was good. I enjoyed season 2. I enjoyed both seasons of Reacher. I've checked out a lot of, I think his name's Alan Richardson, I think is his name, on social media. He's just a pretty cool dude. I can't wait to see the new movie that he's in with Henry Cavill, the one about the first, like, SEAL team that Guy Ritchie directed. It looks freaking amazing. The Gentleman was also an awesome film. If you haven't seen The Gentleman is a great movie. Guy Ritchie's films are generally really, really good. I don't think I've ever been disappointed by a Guy Ritchie film, ever. I think I started. If it wasn't Snatch, it was Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. One of those two was the first one.
I would love to help you, Lord Walker, but understand, I am in a real bind here.
But look who has arrived. Mrs. Mann, there's someone I would like you to meet.
All right, Mr. Lore Walker.
How does today find you? Farewell. This ancient fresco was once inlaid with jade. Oh, but it has fallen into ruin, and now its wisdom is lost to us. With the sudden arrival of strangers on Pandaria, I believe we'll need the lessons our history can teach us.
So, I was just thinking about this.
I understand, Lord
I'll wait till
Walker,
they're done.
but the Serpent's Heart project is behind schedule, and we've not a stone to spare.
So I think the thing I'm most enjoying about this expansion so far is it seems much more cozy, if that makes sense. Much more chill. Like, I just did Cataclysm for like the last 6 weeks with my druid, and Cataclysm was all about war and destruction and save the planet, like giant dragons trying to eat us all. And there's obviously a big baddie here. But I just feel like generally this feels a lot more like, I honestly, this feels like Lord of the Rings Online or Star Wars: The Republic. Like, it just generally feels, it's very relaxed right now. I feel very cozy with the experience of questing so far in Mist and Pandaria, which has been, it's a very interesting, I'm going to rant now for a couple minutes about storytelling in games, because it's another great topic, and I've got time, and we're time stamping this as we talk about storytelling in games. So I'm generally, this has been a very enjoyable expansion pack for me. I was saying earlier how Battle for Azeroth has been like my favorite so far. I liked Dragonflight. I've done Dragonflight twice. I didn't feel compelled to do it a third time when I got my druid to level 60. I had a level boost for my War Within pre-order, so I just used that on my druid to get him to 70 so that I can raid with him and do mythic dungeons and stuff. And since then I've been going back and doing different expansions. I've leveled up 2 characters through Battle for Azeroth. I would do Battle for Azeroth again. Like, I've still only seen, like, the first time I went through, I did the campaign and then side quests until 60. Second time I did main campaign, other side quests in a different zone, and there's still one more zone that I haven't done that I could go do on another character to get the full Battle for Azeroth experience on the Alliance side. Then there's the Horde side. I've only done Zandalar one time. So it's like, I would happily do Zandalar again. Zandalar was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. That's like been my best storytelling experience so far. Is I really like the Battle for Azeroth expansion. Shadowlands wasn't so, I didn't care about the story that much. I went through it once and was like, once was enough. Dragonflight, I've done a couple times. It's pretty good. I'm going to do it again at some point because my brother is playing with my nephew. And so they just subbed up for 6 months the other day. So I'm going to be leveling with them. My brother actually started with Mists of Pandaria, and it always told me really great things. And so when I finally got to this expansion, I've been generally pleased because like I'm trying to do everything in chronological order. So I went back and did Cataclysm because I've never done it. Now I'm doing Mists of Pandaria. Then I'll do Warlords of Draenor, and then I'll do Legion, right? Because that gets me up to Battle for Azeroth, which I've done, and Shadowlands and Dragonflight. Anyway, Cataclysm was such a different expansion, and I think also it wasn't as streamlined as Pandaria is because this has way more voiceovers, and way more like cinematic cutscene sequences. So it feels much more closer to modern WoW than Cataclysm did. But I genuinely like the storytelling here more than anywhere else. The zone layout and just the world building has been absolutely phenomenal here, and the music. I feel like it feels to me even more well done than Battle for Azeroth stuff did. Although both of those, Zandalar and Kul Tiras, are both very, very good. Backtrack says Mist has a sleeping villain built up over patches. Things get wild once you get past Throne of Thunder story-wise. Someone was saying that earlier today, asking if I was going to play the patch content. Listen to that music. So musical storytelling is just as important as visual storytelling and narrative storytelling and the world environment, you know what I mean? Like I like the music here too, but I'm just genuinely pleased with this expansion so far.
Hello.
Alright, our J supply line is fallen in apart. Recover 15 tons
You
of jade.
expect this dumpling to clean up the Mason's quarter? They barely even got a belly on them.
Have patience, Mrs. Mann. These strangers from beyond the mist continually surprise me.
Alright. We've already got the Flight Master. We're good. Let's go out this way. The mean Queen of Green, she says. Like, look at this forest zone. Like, this is just really well done. Like, there's a nice idyllic waterfall over there. It's still like the old school world building, but it's like way refined, you know? Oh, there's a lot of those. Oh, they just... Okay, now they appeared while I got here. Oh, they... When I kill them, that's where the spores... Okay, I got it. You know, one game that I wish it would have made the the evolution was Dungeon Siege, because the first two Dungeon Sieges were really good games, and then they just were not good anymore after that. That would have been an interesting game to see in the current era of like multiplayer co-op games that are doing so well. Even a crafting survival game, but something that's set in the Dungeon Siege world. Like, I feel that could be done really well with the races and everything they have, but unfortunately that franchise has just been kicked around so much, I don't know if they can ever realistically do anything with it to bring it back from the brink. But the first two games are really good.
What is your hurry?
Her eyes are wide and nostrils flared. She looks
Goodbye.
expectantly. You got a can catch with my product.
Stay focused.
Here we go. Look at that. That's awesome. Like, this sort of narrative cinematic storytelling, I just love.
Patience. Patience.
All right.
Keep the peace.
We gotta go in there and take
Stay
care
focused.
of the threat.
Keep the peace.
My idiot husband, how is down the quarry? Oh,
Goodbye.
sorry. We're going into the quarry, everybody. It's gonna be a little dangerous. There's also another quest up here. I don't see how I'm supposed to get up there, wherever that quest is at. It definitely showed something up there at the top, but I don't know how I can get up there with the top without flying. Well, maybe. It's not looking like it. Well, that didn't take me anywhere. All right. Alright. Well, before I go in the quarry, let me go double check everything's good with Chris. She's probably asleep by now, but I just wanted to make sure. She had a really long day today. She worked upstairs on the roof for like 6 hours cleaning stuff. I was only up there for about 3, so she's a trooper, man. I'll be right back. She's doing TikTok right now. Let me go check a couple things before we get going. I'll stream for a bit more. I'm at my hour-and-a-half mark right now. Someone was saying in Discord that they're gonna do what I'm doing and go through an entire expansion with one of their characters. That's good. I'm glad I'm inspiring people to do stuff like that. Oh, I guess we're not going in that cave. Nibblers are tearing the place down there. Like, no other MMORPG was doing stuff like this at this time. I played EverQuest 2 for the entire time, like, through this, and EverQuest 2 was doing really cool stuff, but not this cool. They were doing cool stuff. I stayed engaged with EverQuest 2 for 7 years. It was a good game. I had a lot of fun. But this definitely, in comparison, this is way better.
Told you I had it. I'm sure you can handle things in here. I'll be outside settling things down.
Let's take the safe way down. Yeah, that's what I did for Cataclysm. So you can actually do it at 60 because they prompt you that they kick you out at 61. So you can actually just go to 60 and then turn it on from there. But that's what I just did with Cataclysm. I level locked my druid. Missed a couple more of these guys. Yeah, let's just keep going this way. What's that primordial? Alright, that's that quest done. What do I still need here? Oh, I need to get more of these gorgers. I got it.
It is too far away.
Not too long.
I need to get closer.
Alright, we gotta go back out. What do we still need in here? Oh, we still need one more nibbler. Hello, Mr. Nibbler. Ooh, is that like a... Oh, no, it won't let me use it. Never mind. Up and out of here. Alright, I need lots of jade. Bring the jade cart, board the jade cart, and ride with him. Oh, what? I need to check these cloaks out. Are one of them actually look wild? I don't like the split cloak look, man. Out of all of them, that's probably the best, and I don't like short cloaks. I'll take the haste and mastery when we get there. Ride boldly,
Hold on
ride.
tight. Crazy nibblers.
Do I have
Give
to
them a
attack
whooping.
Oh, you can literally attack them while you're on the... That's interesting.
Daggone critters don't know when to give up, do they?
I got it
Almost
covered.
to the fresco. Keep it up back there.
I am out of range. I need to get closer. It is too far
What
away.
a rush! I like you. You keep things interesting.
All right, brother.
Snow Lily, we're back from the quarry. Got a special delivery just for you, my sweet.
Honey bear! I mean, it is about time. Don't
Very
you
well done.
snow lily me. We were worried sick about you. And the delivery is not for me, how? The Honorable Lawwalker has been waiting. Oh.
Sorry to keep you waiting, Sugarfur. I know how you worry. Truth is, this stranger here saved my old hide. Go figure.
Come, speak with me. May your deeds live on in story.
I'm gonna take this cloak because it has the stats that I want. Oh, there's a second mural now. We got one more to do. This is really cool.
Patience, patience.
And quite a bit of extra jade. My friend Foreman Rake is running the great strategy project, The Serpent's Heart. Bring him shipment of extra jade to him. He'll be eagerly
Stay
awaiting
focused.
arrival. So that's one more. Is he right through there? I think I can just go down here. Oh no, that's a different quest. So that's back. Is that where we're soulbound? Where am I bound at? Trunkenhausen. I'm close to a flight path. What do we got here? I want to go transmog anyway. Hang on, there's a quest up here. Must grab. Okay. I need to go set my transmog though. It's time.
Tell me of your travels.
You know, I still haven't found a major city here yet. Man, this place is huge. Holy crap, this whole time I've only been in this one little area. And it looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more areas, possibly 7 more areas to discover. This place is massive. Wow, this might take me longer than I thought to, It was about 6 weeks to do Cataclysm. I wonder if it's going to be longer than that for this. This looks freaking huge.
There is no hurry.
I mean, there's no rush for me. There's no downside to that. Like, that could be like 3 months of content. That'd be awesome.
Behold the wonders of Pandaria.
All right, I do want to go transmog, so let's boogie out of here.
Family, friends.
I think it was the Podon Village. That's where
Welcome.
the transportal is.
May the mist.
Okay. There's also Timeless Isle and the Tillers and Mists. I have no idea what any of those things are. My first time doing this content. Where is this at? Oh, I think we just landed somewhere. We're checking some algorithm stuff. Maduro says Isle of Thunder and Isle of Giants too. That sounds awesome. Backtrack says ways to earn gold. There's a mount with a transmog vendor that you can only get in mists. Man, I have a feeling this might be something that takes me a few months. Look at the size of that map a minute ago. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, wow, that's a good question. Let me get the timestamp for that. So, JibXM asks, what's been your favorite content so far since you've started playing? Classes or expansions or raids or other things? You know, I'm having a lot of fun right now. Mists of Pandaria is pretty cool. Like, we're gonna go transmog here in a minute, and I'll show a little bit of his armor off. Like, it's been really cool getting the transmog set for this character, and like, I know it's just an alt that I'm using to just go do story that I've never seen before. So I'm very pleased with this. So I need an aspect of cinematic storytelling to really get into something, and the base of like classic Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, those were fun. Those were really fun. Cataclysm was good. That was like the last 6 weeks, right? Cataclysm was pretty fun doing that content. I liked the storyline. Mount Hyjal in particular was just an absolutely phenomenal zone. Just overall, I had a lot of fun in Mount Hyjal. The Battle for Azeroth has been really, really good from a storytelling perspective, right? I've enjoyed that a lot. I like both Kultiris and Zandalar. The thing I like about Pandaria so far is I feel like especially having just finished Cataclysm, this is when they started adding like a lot of voiceovers and a lot more cinematics. And I like that cinematic narrative storytelling. So I like there to be lots of voiceovers and lots of cinematics and cutscenes, and I feel like they've just gotten progressively better with that, especially because I'm looking at the perspective of playing Battle for Azeroth, Shadowlands, and Dragonflight and going, oh wow, this is amazing. Like, if this is the retail experience, that's amazing. That's not the World of Warcraft that I experienced in Classic, when I tried that, a few years ago. So that was very interesting to see that, and then going forth from that, and coming back now and playing older stuff, I mean, seeing the progression of the game. But I feel like this is the minimum level. The Mist of Pandaria is like the minimum level of cinematics and narration that I would consider to be like a modern MMO. Like anything less than this just isn't enough voiceover to be considered modern, if that makes sense. Modern cinematic. So that's a rambling. I'm getting around to my answer because I want to go to the transmog first to show that off, because that's a part of what I'm driving at here with this, with the answer to that question. Mist of Pandaria is definitely the funnest I'm having right now, and I liked Dragonflight a lot, but this has been a little bit funner for me. For some odd reason, I'm resonating really well with like the storytelling here because of how cozy it is compared to like Dragonflight was. There was an aspect of it of like when Belamoth, the trees coming back, everything else. That was really cool to play that through as a night elf. But it also still felt like Dragonflight still very much felt like a war-based expansion, if that makes sense. Kind of like Cataclysm. It's very much we're being attacked. There's these horrific dragons, these really horrific dudes. They're gonna kill the Dragonflight. Like we have to defend, and so it's a very aggressive storyline compared to Mist of Pandaria, which has been a very relaxing storyline, if that makes sense. I had done a lot of raiding in other games before I got to World of Warcraft, and the one thing I can say is that modern retail World of Warcraft raiding is really fucking good. Like, I didn't know it was that good. Now I understand. I understand now. Like, I loved raiding in EverQuest. It was fine. I loved raiding in EverQuest 2. EverQuest 2 did a lot of the things that World of Warcraft has done over the years in terms of, boss mechanics and council raids and, specific encounters and scripted events during raids that have to be done a specific way. Mechanics are important. So I really enjoyed raiding for EverQuest 2, and that's where I was for a long time. And then I did a little bit in Star Wars: The Republic and a little bit in Lord of the Rings Online, but I haven't really done any progressive raiding since 2009. It's been a long time, and I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. But what we're doing right now with the guild in World of Warcraft is very relaxed. It's Saturday nights only, normal mode only. It's very non-sweaty. We only go like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Usually do 2 or 3 bosses. So I enjoy it, but I don't play the game to raid. If I look at the way I play World of Warcraft, I play World of Warcraft like 85% solo as a single-player RPG and just for stream material and content for my YouTube channel. The other 14% of the time is I'm doing group stuff. Like on Wednesday nights, I do groups. We sometimes do transmog stuff, and then we're getting ready to start doing the time walking raids, time walking dungeons, and stuff like that. Saturday nights are raid nights. Saturday mornings, I do the Tauren group, and then afterwards, usually solo content unless somebody wants to do some dungeons. So I don't like the idea of raiding. To me, like, it's fun to do, but it is not my most, the most favorite thing for me. I think the thing that I'm enjoying more than anything else, this is the easiest answer to that, because I play so much of it. The single-player RPG aspect of World of Warcraft. I didn't know it existed like this because I had only ever played like Classic, and it wasn't like this. So seeing Mist of Pandaria, and then also looking at Battle for Azeroth, Dragonflight, and everything, and extremely cinematic. My brother actually sent me a message the other day because him and his son were playing through the starter island on trial accounts, like, I don't know, like 2-3 weeks ago, right? And he was like, I had no idea modern World of Warcraft was like this. This is freaking amazing. And then we got to talking about how cool it was and how similar it was to like Star Wars: The Republic, because he and I have played a lot of Star Wars: The Republic over the years, and neither one of us realized that World of Warcraft had come around to being like that. So seeing that cinematic experience, I very much enjoy the cinematics and that that solo RPG narrative of being able to go do stuff, especially now with follower dungeons and the ability to go do stuff. But just if I just want to solo, I can solo, and I can see all of the storyline except for like that 1% that's for raids, and I have no problem with that. Like, that is not a big deal to me. I'll watch some YouTube videos if I need to, if I really want to get that. But since I'm raiding with the guild, I don't have to worry about it because I'll see all of it, you know. But I'm saying if I wanted to, I could just ignore all of that. But here's the other aspect of it, because I did, you know, I get very much into the cosmetics of games. Looking at this and setting up the transmogs is also just incredibly fun to do. So I'm going to set up some stuff with him really quick because his cloak's already good, his hat's already good. But we want to go away from that. We want to go back to... I gotta find my robe, man. Where'd my robe go? I gotta find it now. And I set up some time to do my transmog this morning on my other character too. Where's the stinking robe at? Well, I got some new stuff too I'm gonna have to take a look at. Well, I'm gonna have to figure out where that went. And set the transmog up. But this is the other thing I'm really enjoying is in the game is coming in here and doing transmog and looking at like all the cool ways that you could set up the gear sets. Because there just really is some really cool gear that you can look at for your characters. Which I've gotten sucked into like the cosmetics in Lord of the Rings Online and Star Wars: New Republic. It's been a heck of a lot of fun in those games, and I feel like the transmog in this game is even better because we've been able to, like, I was saying this the other day, like Lord of the Rings Online, if you want to transmog something, you have to have it in your inventory, and then you drag that into your cosmetic slot, and then you can go put it in the bank. But if you ever destroy it or lose it, you're screwed, because if you ever change that piece out, you can't go back to an existing piece unless you have that piece physically in your hand. And the thing I love about the transmog system in World of Warcraft is it saves it all. So it's here forever for your characters. And it's going to get even better with the warbands and the War Within and everything that's coming with the World Soul Saga. So if I had to say my favorite aspect of the game, it's the solo RPG storyline elements of it, followed by transmog. Those two things are massively important to me. The group content is cool, but it's icing on the cake for me. And raid is like the cherry on top of the icing. Like, I don't have to have the cherry to enjoy my cake, and I don't even need the icing to enjoy my cake. But the icing and the cherry make it that much better, if that makes sense. But it's pretty much that, you know, single player, transmog, group stuff, raids. Like, that's in that order. Like, that answers the question too about, are you planning on Mythic plus progression on your Balance Druid? No. I doubt I will ever do Mythic Plus on that character ever, or any character ever. I don't think I'll ever go beyond the Mythic 0 difficulty that's used for the weeklies. That's true. You can also do that 1% through looking for raid if you want to. I did one the other day for the first time. I did it off stream just to learn how it worked. It was interesting. Definitely, they wiped a few times because people weren't soaking a mechanic that they were supposed to soak, and it was interesting seeing that perspective of, like, the mechanics still do matter, even though it's much more relaxed, you know, much more relaxed in the in that arena. Going back to my walking staff here. Oops, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this one. No, I think I like the firm grips. Those aren't bad either. That's too green. That's not bad. I think I'm gonna go with that. Maybe I'll go with a different cloak. Let's look at the cloaks real quick because I've got different colored cloaks now. Ooh, that yellow. I think we're gonna go yellow with this one. That's looking pretty good. The blue cloak looks pretty good too, though. I think I want the Vagabond Sunny Cape. Ooh, that one looks good too. The Parrot Feather Cloak. Oh, I might go with the Parrot Feather Cloak. Let's save this. What's it not saving? Fine. There we go. That's the new look. I think that's a fairly good look. I can dig that. Jimmick says, love your answer for story. Actually, I enjoy playing solo in such a massive universe to share with other people and then fight for harder content. But how do you feel about the difficulty of the game? Oh, I don't play these games for difficulty. That's why I'll never do Mythic Plus. I don't play these games to be challenged. If I want to be challenged, I'll go play Dark Souls. I play these games to feel comfortable, to feel cozy, to feel good, to immerse myself in a world and feel a roleplay aspect, to be able to feel the pull of the character, the lore of the world, the music. Challenge is like fuck challenge. Like, I'm old. I've got old man hands. I've got tendonitis horrible in my left hand, which is why I prefer to use a controller, and I play World of Warcraft with a controller. I don't like mouse and keyboard. I don't want twitchy-based bullshit mechanics. Raiding on normal mode is about the max difficulty that I ever want to experience in the game, and I don't feel compelled to look that outside of the raid experience. Our guild motto is literally story first. Like, that's one of the big things about the charter is, like, you're going to be disappointed if you're coming here looking for the gear grind, because we don't do the gear grind. It's like we're anti-gear grind. Like, the gear is fine, but story first, man. You can get raid level gear from the story, from like doing single player story and the seasonal content, and then you just do the raids to do that 1% of the storyline that you want to see to max out the story completion. So that doesn't even enter into my perception of the game. Like, I don't pay attention whatsoever. And I dislike games that are hardcore or make it difficult for the sake of it. Like, corpse runs? Fuck off. Like, no. No. I really like that set of gear, actually. Now that we're back in town and we've set up. That looks really good. I just released my transmog video this morning, and I recorded it yesterday, and I've already changed the transmog on him. You know, I want to check one more thing. Can I get that other staff?
How may I be of service?
No, it's not going to give me. All it's going to give me is the effect staffs. So I can have different weapon enchantments here, so let's just check this out. I think I want the blue one, because that matches my outfit. Let's do the blue one. Did we do the purple one? Purple one's kind of cool. Alright, let's see what this looks like now. Oh, look at the tip of my staff is glowing purple now. That is dope! Let's pull it out. Oh, that's so cool. I think I want to change it to the blue, though. That purple is a little much.
Shall we get down to business?
Oh, that's much better. That's more subtle. Much more subtle. I'm starting to feel pretty pretty stoked about this build. Like, just the transmog and everything about this character. I'm pretty happy about that. Thanks, Rustbeard. Oh, I was looking for a different weapon. Hang on, let me go back real quick. You're saying I missed something?
I am looking forward.
I was looking for a different weapon. What are you talking about? Oh, I see. I see. I see what you're talking about. I didn't realize that. That's kind of cool though. Carved ashwood stick. I like my dark wood though. The dark wood's nice with the blue. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I'm stoked with that. I don't think I need to do anything else here. I literally only came to Stormwind just to show off some transmog for that video. I'm really happy with that look. I might be able to use a different color belt. Let's just double check if there's a different color belt.
I foresee a mutually beneficial transaction.
Oh, they do. I do have some other colors. Ooh, that gray or the brown. That's too bright. I think I'm gonna go with that lighter brown. It kind of matches the shoulder pads. I don't want it to be gray because it's a little too... Oh yeah. And that orange matches my hat on this belt buckle. That's pretty awesome. All right, guys, I'm 2 hours in. That's enough. I need to go get my beauty sleep because my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock, and our cat's usually waking me up at like 3. So I'm gonna go brush my teeth and go to bed. Hopefully, we don't have any more emergencies for tomorrow. I should be live at the normal time tomorrow, like noon, 11 o'clock or noon Central. I gotta go upload a video too. I gotta upload that for. I think it's coming out on Thursday. If you like what you saw here tonight and you're new, do me a favor. Watch wherever I'm live. Watch both places at once because I multi-stream on YouTube and Twitch, so you can watch both places. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon on YouTube. Follow along over on Twitch. And if you want to go all in and support, keep me on the air full time, thanks to those of you who can and do. Bits, cheers, and subs on Twitch, super chats, and memberships on YouTube. There's buttons down below. Just click them. You'll figure it out. New member video went up this afternoon. We did a big channel analytics update for the YouTube channel, and then we did a Patreon post yesterday. So check all those things out, everybody. See you next time.